So last week I recorded a video on the 5 formations that I use personally in FUT Champs and Rivals to guarantee you guys more wins. And that's true, those are the formations that I use every week, week in, week out when I'm trying to be competitive. But the minute I stopped recording that video, I then went to play FIFA and I used a formation that wasn't on there, a 2-striker formation, because I enjoy it and I find it fun. And that got me thinking, there's going to be one of you out there that sat there watching that video and went, I've got a Strike Force Evo. I want to use my Strike Force Evo and CR7 at the same time up front. Don't know what that impression was, but it's one of you. You know who you are. But as FIFA players, we're a funny bunch. We have our habits, we're stubborn, we play how we want to play. And for some people, myself included actually, we favoritise 2-striker formations. We might just have a team that is catered all around having 2 strikers. So I thought, I'm going to pop on today 5 incredible formations that you can run for 2 strikers that are guaranteed to get you more wins in FC25. If you end up enjoying the video guys, don't forget to drop it a like so other people see it. And if these formations help you and you enjoy it, don't forget to subscribe. We're close to 1,000 now. Eventually, I might be famous and go on Strictly Come Dancing. Who knows? Anyway guys, let's just get into it. So to start your games, like I said in the last video, you always want to start with a balanced formation. You want to sort of suss your opponent out. If they're playing attacking, you can tinker to it. If they're playing defensive, you can tinker to it. But you want to start off with a balanced formation so that you're solid in defence and creating chance and attack. So to do this in a 2-striker formation, I would start with the 4-4-2 flat. An incredible formation, really good at countering the 4-2-1-3 as well, which is obviously helpful in the current meta. Possibly, I'm not going to say possibly, it's definitely not as good as the 4-2-1-3. Like I said in my last video, that formation is just the best formation on the game, absolutely broken, but this can definitely compete with it, which a lot of formations unfortunately cannot. For your build-up style, you're going to go for counter on this. Now, you can mess around with this. It sort of works on short passing as well. But I find that this formation is incredible for through balls. You've got 4 players constantly running in behind to try and get on the end of it. So if you've got them on counter, they just get there faster. And it just gives you that edge over your opponent that's trying to get back in position. I just find with short passing and balance, it becomes a little bit too static. And then for the defensive approach, we're actually going for high 70, not the meta 95. And you guys play about with this how you like. Like, you might run it and 95 works so much better for you. Me personally, any formation that's got no CDM and got just CMs, I cannot work with 95. I just get played around way too easily. I feel that if you have 70 depth on formations with just CMs, they take up a position that's similar to a CDM on 95 in sort of your 4-2-1-3. And they're just way better positioned to make those interceptions. And on 70 depth, they're not constantly running up the pitch. CMs obviously naturally want to be higher, which is causing you a load of issues in defence. So I'd say 70 is the way to go here. Now, with all the formation I'm going to show you today, your goalkeeper's personal preference. Run whatever you want. They're still going to do stupid things. With this being a balanced formation, both your fullbacks are going to be on fullback and defend. And in this formation, and any balanced formation, I'd say, for my fullbacks, I like to run people that are equally as good at right back, left back, or centre back, because it gives me, one, the variation to switch to some of these other formations in game. And obviously, I'll tell you when I do that as the video progresses, but also it just means that that line of 4 never sort of strays away from each other. I think if you've got sort of a more attacking wing back that's playing at fullback defend, you tend to find that they get knocked off the ball too easily. Their AI is trying to push forward and they just get caught out of position. I'm running at the moment an Evo Kyle Walker and Nuno Mendes, both that can play centre back, and yeah, it just works so well. You've always got a compact line of 4 and it just makes you really difficult to counter against. And the meta at the minute is wing play. It usually is on FIFA, but this year it's to the extreme. The 4-2-1-3 is madness. So you want that solid bank of 4 to keep you solid defensively, with this being a balanced formation. Both your centre backs are on defender defend and you just do not touch this, man. Every formation you see today, pretty much, I'd say 99 out of 100 times I show you a formation video, this will be defender defend. It's the best role and it keeps your players in the best position. Any other role on a centre back will make them move from that pairing, and it just makes it really difficult. We all know, or you should at least know, that pulling your centre-backs out of that line is the worst thing you can do. Because of how the FIFA mechanics are, the FC mechanics, it's so easy to put a through ball behind you if you pull your centre-back out of place. So don't use a roll that's going to do that to the AI automatically. You're just asking for trouble. For both your CMs in this formation, I go box to box and balance. Now, it's personal preference this a little bit, especially on one of the CMs, because I prefer to play where I just find that box-to-box central midfielders pull back a little bit more on the defence. It just makes me a little bit more solid with sort of a line of 6, rather than them being on the halfway line and me just getting a massive gap between my defenders and my midfielders. But also box-to-box players attack really well as well. I think it's a really underrated role. But that being said, there's so many good playmaker CMs as well that I would recommend, if you've got a really good playmaker CM, running this as one box to box and one playmaker CM, because that works incredibly. But just for personal preference for me, I just prefer to have them both on box to box. Now for both your wingers, you want to be using inside forward and balance. Don't mess around with this. Inside forward attack, they push way too far up. You're way too susceptible on defence. Inside forward roaming, I think at times you can just find them nowhere. And especially when you're running box to box midfielders, they tend to get in each other's way. So inside forward balance is the way to go here. You want fast, good wingers that are going to be able to get in behind when you need them to, but also good on the ball so that they can dribble, and when you need to, put that incisive killer pass through to one of your forwards. And then for both your strikers, it's bread and butter, man. Advanced forward attack. I have messed around with sort of converting this into a 4-4-1-1 where I have one on false 9 and one on advanced forward attack, but it just doesn't work as well. This formation is so good on the break. Because of how these players run, you'll get these two strikers, at least one of your CMs, and both your wingers bombing forward. And usually that means that at least one of them is going to be free against their backline 4, where they're all on fullback defend or centre-back defend. So you've just got a through ball option, and that's what this formation's all about. Linear Tiki-Taka. You will get the ball with one of your CMs, you'll get your ball with one of your fullbacks, bomb it forward, get your wingers on it, get your strikers on it, you're bound to score a load of goals. And here's what it looks like with the ball, guys, and it goes a little bit into like a 4-2-2, just a little bit more offensive. And it works really well. You get sort of 2 triangles of 3 players here, but they can also interchange from left to right as well. You've got attacking options everywhere in this formation, but when you lose it, you go back into this formation, and that's why it's good at countering things like the 4-2-1-3, the 4-3-3 even, like, because you've got these as LM and RM rather than wingers, they sit back a little bit when they lose the ball, and what that means is that that fast pinged pass over to their winger becomes a lot more difficult to make because you've got 2 players in close vicinity. Most players run in fullback defence, so you don't have to worry about their fullback bombing forward. So you've got 2 players that are sort of marking that ball to the wing, and you can just overload that winger, and it makes wing play really difficult. Hence why I love running this formation. It just works so well. But here's the code for the 4-4-2, guys, if you want to give it a go yourself. I have a load of success with this formation, but like I say, mess around with it. It's a really good balanced formation, and it can be used in a variety of ways. I'm going to do a video soon on a proper English 4-4-2 where it's wingers, fullback defend, like proper English cup of tea sort of stuff. So yeah, there's loads you can do with it, but if you want one to copy to a T, here's the code, and this one works really well. Now, this next formation I'm going to show you guys is actually my favourite formation in the entire game. I love using this formation, and it gets me so many wins because it's so attacking, but also really good defensively. It's not a balanced formation per se. When I'd switch to this from the 4-4-2 would be probably when I see that my opponent's pushing me quite a lot, especially against, you can tell straight away when someone's running 95 depth, and this is a perfect formation to counter that because it just works so well. It's so fluid at going from defence and attack, and you just tend to find that anyone that's pressing you too high, this is just going to capitalise on any push out that they do. So if you're looking for a counter-attacking formation, this is the one to go for. It's my very special 4-1-2-1-2 wide, and if you've watched the channel for a while, you're a top bro by the way, but you'll have seen me use this quite a lot. So for the build-up style, you're going to go for counter, so you're countering, you want to win the ball back as soon as possible. So when you get the ball, you want your players getting into those positions because that's how this formation works. You want them in the positions that work really well for this formation, which is like a bank of 5 attackers, and you're just going to be unstoppable. You overload the opposition so often on the counter attack. And with the line height, you're going to go for 95 aggressive. Like I say, you're countering other people running that 95 aggressive. You want to win the ball back as soon as possible as well. But the difference being is when you win the ball back, you're going to be in a position where you've got so many attackers that the opponent can't keep up. So many FIFA players, man, FC players, whatever, they just play the same formation all game. They'll stick with that 4-2-1-3 come hell or high water. Doesn't matter what happens in the game, they will not budge because it's the best formation in the game. So this counters it really well, and you absolutely smash them because you've got so many players on the transition. So for one of your fullbacks, and this is completely interchangeable, so whichever way works for you, you're going to use fullback defend, okay? And it'll come clear why you're doing that later on. For both your defenders, like I say, defender defend. Do not change that. You want them to defend. For your other fullback, you use false back and defend. And what I'd say is obviously if you've got one that's got ++, everyone's got a Teo Hernandez apparently. Obviously he's got false back ++. He would work really well there. Your holding midfielder is on deep line playmaker and defend. You do not want them budging from that defensive line. It'll become apparent when I show you the with the ball why, but here you want a classic CDM. Like I'm talking your Rodris, your Patrick Vieira's, players like that. Tall, strong, can do a pass, which unfortunately Vieira cannot, but preferably with maybe something like intercept plus. Just defensive playstyles because they are just there to sit in front of your back line to make sure that the counter is as difficult as possible. Now a bit of a deviation here from the inside forward whore that I am, but for both your wingers, and ignore where the players are here, obviously you want to have substitutions that fit to these roles, but yeah, both your wingers are actually going to be on winger and balanced, and it's very specific as to why. I'll talk to you about it more when I show you the with the ball, but essentially you don't want them cutting in. Not in this formation because it's all about having the width, and you don't have much width in this formation if you have them cutting inside, and the width is what makes this work so well and what makes it counter so well. For your cam, you're going to go shadow striker. It's a case that I flirt between playmaker and shadow striker on all my formations, but in this one, it has to be shadow striker. It just makes the formation mwah. And then again, bread and butter for both your strikers, you're going to go advanced forward attack. It's the best role for a striker, hands down. And yeah, in this formation, it just works incredibly. But like I say, guys, these player roles come a lot easier to explain when you see the with the ball, because what it converts into is an old school 3-5-2. And on the attack, the 3-5-2 has always been insane. But in this game, it still is insane in the attack, especially on the counter. It's just a shame that 3 at the back formations are just so dooky defensively that you just can't run them in game. But that's why we convert it like this. So this is why I was saying that your fullback needs to be ++, okay? Because obviously they go into a third centre-back. You need a player that you'd be happy to play at centre-back if needs be. I've got an Evo Kyle Walker, but Kyle Walker's always been insane at centre-back on FIFAs for the past few years. He works really well, but you want him on that ++ because when you get broken down, you want him to get back into this fullback position as soon as possible so that he's back marking their winger. And likewise, the same thing for the left back. This is why you want a ++ on false back, because they are going to come up and form a second holding midfielder. You want them to be good at passing because they will become a sort of build-up option as well. You can pass the ball back and then do a quick through ball somewhere else. But more importantly, when you lose the ball, you want them as well being quick enough to get back into this fullback position and be able to mark their winger, because it is all about wing play and this is how you defend it. And this is what I was talking about with the bank of 5 players, guys. Your 2 wingers are going to hold their width, so they're going to bomb down the byline. Your cam is going to split the 2 strikers, so your strikers will go a little bit wider, and you're attacking like an arrow. So what that means is when you get the ball with one of these holding midfielders, you can ping it out to one of your wingers. They're going to be free because their fullbacks don't know whether to mark the striker that's cutting wide or the cam that's coming forward. You'll tend to find that the winger holds width. When they're running fullback defend, your fullbacks go in, they tuck in, and the wingers become free. They get so much more space because you're running winger. And what that means is you can get that ping pass over, either bomb in behind and go for a cutback, or you can sort of hold the ball up and wait for your 3 strikers to become 3, and you can just do a quick pass from right to left or left to right, and you always have options on. Have a look on my channel, there's a video of this because I know it looks a little bit weird on screen here, but honestly it works so well. And I highly recommend, if you're looking for a counter-attacking formation that's amazing on the break with options everywhere, to give this code a try. Run it exactly how I've just told you, because that's how it works well, and I guarantee you, you will be bombing past the opposition. They won't know what's hit them. Now, we don't want to admit this next part, so I'll say it quietly. You're going to come against players sometimes that are just better than you, man. I'm sorry to say it, you're not a pro, that's why you're watching this video. I'm not a pro, I play players that are better than me. It just happens. So what you might need is you're just under the cosh constantly. You can't find a way out in your balanced formation. You're just constantly defending and you're really struggling. What you need to look for is a defensive formation. I'll switch to this. When I can sort of gather that my opponent is playing better football than I am, I switch to an all-out defensive formation that is really good on the defence but also good at countering. So to do this, I actually run a 5-back. I know it makes me a rat, whatever, but it works so well. I run the 5-2-1-2, which is probably one of the best 5 at the back formations you can run. The build-up style I run on counter. You're not going to run anything else. You don't want to run short passing or balance because this is a counter-attacking formation. It's defensive. You want to wait your chance to get the ball back and then bomb forward from there. Your defensive approach is going to be high line height 70. Don't go 95 on this. You're going to get played around. Your centre backs are going to come out of position because they're covering where the CDMs would be. It's not worth it. Run a 70. Hold back. Don't run your players out. And then when you get the ball, your opponent's probably going to make a mistake. You'll win the ball back, and then you bomb forward. So your fullbacks are a little bit different on this one, and this is what I'd recommend with the squad. Have a right back and a left back on your bench that are more attacking, but you still want your wing backs to be defensive because they are going to be on that 70 depth. They are going to hold back. You're going to have a bank of 5 that's stopping their attackers from going forward, and you're constantly just holding them there until the opportunity is there to put a tackle in. Don't pull them out. You want them in that bank of 5. Now guess what? All your defenders are on defender defend. Do not touch it. Keep it as it is. For both your central midfielders, like with the 4-4-2, box to box and balance, for the reasons I explained, we want them sitting back when we lose the ball. We want them getting forward when we win the ball. It's a perfect role for this formation. They're going to make those forward runs when necessary, but they're also going to really help you out on the defence. Now for your cam, this is where I actually run playmaker, and the reason being is that your wing backs are the ones that are going to offer really good width in this formation. Because your left centre mid and your right centre mid are going to be bombing forward, you want someone that's going to hold the centre in the attack, and the playmaker is just there to receive the ball and then ping it to either your wing backs or through balls to your strikers. And I don't know how many times I can talk about this role, but yeah, for your forwards, you're going to go advanced forward attack on both. And here's what it looks like with the ball. Now, like I said in the build-up, if I was running this as a balanced formation, just my go-to starting formation, I would run attacking wing-back on both wing-backs because you want them up there to offer really good attacking support. But that's not why I use this formation for, man. I use it to be a defensive formation, and that's why I run them on wing-back. And I promise you that when you have the ball in sort of the opponent's final third, they will be a lot further up than they're showing on this graph, as will, if I can get there when FIFA's rubbish, as will your box-to-box midfielders, because they'll push forward as well. So if you're looking for a defensive formation, guys, here's the code on screen for you now. Make sure you note it down because it has been a lifesaver for me. It's not ultra defensive in that you can't attack, but it just gives you that little bit more support. Especially, you might run this formation, like I say, when a player's better than you, or even if you're winning 2-0 and you feel that momentum shifting a little bit, switch to your defensive formation. You're still going to have attacking options, but you're just going to be so much more solid at the back. But that leads me nicely on to the next formation, guys. What if you come against someone that is playing a formation that's really hard to break down? They're just sitting there, they're not doing anything, they're just breaking on the counter attack, and it's doing your head in. You're really struggling with your formations because you can't get in behind, you can't get through. This is where I suggest moving into more of a Tiki-Taka formation. If I come against someone that's just sitting really deep and I'm really struggling to break them down, I just count on the fact that my opponent will get bored if I keep the ball. We're a fickle bunch. It's 12 minutes. You don't want to sit there for 12 minutes not having the ball. You don't want to sit there for 12 minutes not having an opportunity to score. The most defensive player in the world will get bored if you just hold that ball. And to do this, I actually switched to a 4-1-2-1-2 narrow formation. In my opinion, one of the best Tiki-Taka formations on the game. So your build-up style on this one is going to actually be balanced. I did flirt with short passing for ages and it works really well, but I've just found in balance they make a little bit more incisive runs when I need them to. So for instance, if I do get to that situation where I'm tiki-taking it around and they finally come out of their defensive shape, I want my forwards bombing forward. I don't want them holding there waiting for the pass. I want them at that point to make that attacking run. And just with balanced, it just works so well. They make that decision for themselves. And your line height is going to be 70, and the reason for this is because it's no good having 95 if their opponent's playing on the counter, because they will just maul you when they win that ball back. Run it on 70 and your players don't come out of position as often. Hold that place for a little bit longer where they're meant to be on the pitch, and that means you always know where they're going to be, and that makes it so much easier to play that passing game because you know where your CM's going to be, you know where your cam's going to be, and you just make those passes in between the lines, and eventually you'll tiki-taka your way to goal. So for the player roles, guys, this is crucial, okay? I see people running this all the time with fullback and defend, and if you want this to be a tiki-taka formation, it is not gonna work, okay? Because you are way too narrow. You don't have an out ball on the wing at all, and what that means is it's just so much easier for your opponent to have their winger intercept the passes and then come running at you. So you want these on fullback balance so they push a little bit further up the pitch. They're still going to help you out loads on the defence. They're not going to do anything mental, but they're at least an out ball so that you've always got someone to tiki-taka the ball to. Do I have to tell you what the defenders are going to be on? I don't think so. Obviously ignore the player position in here. Obviously I'd make substitutions in the game, but your CDM is going to be on deep line playmaker and defend. With your fullbacks being on fullback and balanced, you don't want this guy moving forward and joining this attack. You want him there cutting out those through balls, always sitting in front of your back four. Like with all my other formations, I run both these CMs on box to box and balanced. For the cam here, I actually have them on shadow striker and attack, and it seems a little bit redundant on a tiki-taka formation because you'd think I would run playmaker, which will work well, don't get me wrong, but I found that the shadow striker attack just makes a little bit more of a left or right run at times in this formation, which means that I've got someone available for the pass at all times. On playmaker, for me, they're just a little bit static, and I can sometimes lose them when I'm trying to do that tiki-taka build-up. And guess what? Both your strikers, as always, are on advance forward and attack. And this is what I was talking about, guys, where I said that you want to know where your players are at all times. This barely changes, okay? With the ball, without the ball, it's pretty much identical because you want them in those positions because this is an incredible formation for tiki-taka football. You have triangles everywhere. Forward to cam, cam to other forward, cam back to your CMs, CMs to your wing backs. You've always got an option, and that's what you want. You want to just pass the ball around, be patient, and like I say, your opponent eventually, no matter how defensive they are, will come out of position. They have to. No one plays this game. It's a video game. You don't play for a 0-0 draw. They'll eventually come out, try and press you, and that's when you punish them because this is so quick with the tiki-taka passing. So if you're looking for one of the best tiki-taka formations in the game, guys, here's the code for you now. Note it down, give it a go yourselves, let me know how you get on. But yeah, I only switch to this when I come against someone that's really defensive. I think if you come against someone that's running attacking football, you will miss out because you haven't got a right mid or a left mid to help you support those defenders. You can easily get overloaded. But if I'm playing someone that's just on the defense all the time and playing counter, this works so well because I just frustrate the hell out of them, but you also have loads of options to score goals. Now what I'd say, guys, obviously I'm giving you 5 formations here, as you're aware, and if you run a formation as your sort of starter formation just for chemistry and you need players in roles that you're going to change around, then obviously you're not going to be able to do 5 formations. I run the 4-4-2 when I run 2 strikers as my balanced formation, as you know, but I run that as my default formation as well. So that gives me the opportunity to have this 5th formation. But what I'd say is if you don't have the opportunity to do that, this is the formation that I would leave out. The other 4 would be the ones that I'd switch to, but this would be the formation that I'd leave out. But if you watch the last 5 formations video, you will know that this is my Hail Mary approach, and this is my all-out attacking formation. If I'm losing 2-0 in, say, you know, the 50th minute, what does it matter if I end up losing 5-0? It really doesn't. I may as well just go all out attack and possibly get a chance to at least salvage a draw or even go on to win it. And the formation I run for this is the 4-2-4, an absolutely cracked attacking formation. Obviously, you're going to be susceptible defensively. There's no way around it. It's just the way it is. But that's what this formation's for. You're not here to come out defending. It's not a balanced formation. It's for you to attack, 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 and hopefully get back into a game. To that end, your build-up style is going to be counter. You want your players bombing in behind. You want them getting into the attacking formation as soon as possible. Likewise, your defensive approach, obviously it speaks for itself. It's going to be as high as possible. As high as works well. 95 is amazing. Obviously, you want to win the ball back as high up the pitch as possible. You want your players in the opponent's face because you are susceptible defensively. But when you win that ball back, you're going to have options everywhere to hopefully score a goal. So how I run this, I have one of my fullbacks on fullback defend with both my centre backs on defender and defend. And that's similar to the 4-1-2-1-2 counter in that I want 3 at the back when I have the ball. Because you are going to be susceptible defensively, I want at least 3 players there when the transition comes to hopefully give me a little bit of support. Obviously, you could go attacking wing back on this and just go mental, but I want at least a chance to defend and hold the ball up so that if I am losing 2-0, it's not going to become 8-0. I can at least go back and try and defend to then counter and score some goals. But that being said, my other fullback is on attacking wingback and balanced. I want them bombing forward. No defensive duties really. Obviously, they will come back if you can hold the ball up enough, but you don't have to worry about that. This is a 7th or 8th attacker because you want to get back in that game. Both your CMs, like with all the formations I run with 2 CMs, are on box to box and balanced. I wouldn't really mess with that in this formation because they will come back and defend for you and, like I say, hopefully prevent you from conceding, but they will also attack. And then you'll be attacking with these 4 forwards as well as your 2 CMs and your left back. Now both your wingers are actually on inside forward and balanced. I know that attack might seem, you know, the way to go with an all-out attack formation, but I found when you run inside forward attack with 2 advanced forwards, it just doesn't work. They get a little bit too narrow together, they get in each other's way. And guess what? Both your forwards are on advanced forward attack. It's the best role. They're going to bomb in behind, they're going to come in short when needs be, but they'll work off each other really well. And like I say, it's all about getting in behind, getting in good scoring positions and trying to get yourself back into the game. An absolutely incredible formation this, guys, for getting back into games. So many games I've been trailing 2-0 and I've at least managed to get back into it because your opponents just really struggle to counter it. Unless they go back to a really defensive formation, which most players don't because they don't switch because they think, I'm winning with this formation, what's the point? You just overload them. You absolutely smash them. And yeah, this is the way to go. So note down the code, get it noted down, and I hope it works well for you. But yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the 2 striker formations. You've got 5 there that are absolutely incredible. They're guaranteed to get you more wins in FC25. Obviously, if you haven't seen the last video where I put my actual tactics on, I'll pop it up for you now. But yeah, if you are one of the guys that really likes using 2 striker formations, these formations are worth giving a go. But if you enjoyed the video, guys, don't forget to drop it a like. It helps me out no end. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. More formation videos coming up every week. What I would say is, if you're interested in me popping on a similar video for just 1 striker formations, pop a comment down below and let me know. Love to hear from you. And yeah, I'll get it done when I can. Anyway, I hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye!